And that's grotesque, right? But this is what proportionality looks like when you have a military group that is sowing itself within the fabric of civilian communities. And so if you look at the actions that are manifest on the battlefield, if you look at how the IDF has conducted this war, um, again, this might sound like crazy talk to some people, but there's back up just a second. There's a grotesque sort of macabre ratio that we sometimes use to describe civilian casualties, and it's a civilian casualty ratio. So the number of combatants, or the number of civilians that are killed for every combatant that you kill. And again, these numbers can be incredibly politicized. And they're all over the map. And one of the problems, just as an aside, for being able to think ethically about something like the IDF war against Hamas is, that there's a lot of bad actors in the media. There's misinformation. It's very difficult on both sides to get accurate information. But as of February, I think the numbers that the Palestinian authorities have claimed being killed, or something just above 30,000 Palestinians. The IDF claims that of those 30,000, about 13,000, I think, have been Hamas fighters. And so if we just accept those numbers as maybe roughly true, they're both probably high, right? They both have built-in incentives for juicing the numbers. But if we accept them as they are, and then you do other things like calculate the number of expected deaths that would have died anyway in Palestine, because even during a war, people die of natural causes. Then you factor in the number of people that Hamas has probably killed through accidental failings of weapon systems, through intention. They did gun down some of their own people when those people were following IDF orders to evacuate and things. So you crunch all these different numbers, and it seems reasonable to assume a casualty rate of about 1-to-1, just over one civilian has been killed for every combatant. That's horrible, but in terms of warfare, historically, that's about the norm. And then you consider, as you've pointed out, urban warfare. And historically, urban warfare tends to kill about 90% civilians, right? About 10% turn out to be fighters. And if that's the historic norm for urban warfare, then the IDF has come astonishingly low on that percentage. And if that's the case, then to suggest that the IDF is so incompetent in its efforts at genocide that it can't even kill a proper number of people just puts absurdity to the suggestion that this is an act of genocide. You can identify intent through action, and Israel is doing a miserable job of killing all of the Palestinians if genocide is actually their intent.